White man in boxing led the Flair Cops. Shout out to Goodfellas Sports TV.
Don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. 100% all natural products from lotions, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, and much, much more. Use the promo code Goodfella1Boxing. Tell them your boy CJ Goodfella sent you. Get 18% off. We out.
All right, man, we back. Let's talk about some boxing on Christmas. Merry Christmas, niggas! You know my pinky voice, man. I don't really celebrate Christmas at its essence, but I just do it, to give to the ones I love. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I do it. So, but let's chop it up. Apparently Gary Russell did an interview. We start off there, talk about Bud and Shawn next. But apparently Gary Russell, he done an interview with Brian Custer. Let me shout out to Dearborn, man. I always say y'all can't drive, but Dearborn, my Muslim, my Arab brothers out there, they don't care nothing about Christmas. They said F Christmas. Everything open in Dearborn. So shout out to Dearborn, supermarkets and all. That's why I love coming to Dearborn. Great Arabic food. And they say, forget the white man holiday. They gonna be open. So basically Gary Russell did this interview with Custer on the Last Stand podcast and explained why he only fight once a year. And I can respect it. And he called out Tank again. But rest in peace to his brother that he lost, man. Man, it's just been a horrible 2020. Everybody looking for 2021 to be that year. We always thought 2020 was going to be our year, but we got to have hope. We got to look forward to something, man. So my condolences to the Russell family. His father done an amazing job raising sons that are, smart, athletic, and they ain't ignorant. They not the stereotypical Negro. But, him fighting once a year, I feel it. He said, I don't want to waste my time and I don't want to waste the fans' time fighting tune-ups and fighting bums. He said he want to fight the best fighters out there. And that's kind of the mind state that Terence Crawford got. Him and Crawford, even though there's some friction there, I think if they can get past that friction, they'd be cool. I think they so much alike. That's what make it funny. They so much alike. Thorough, real, and they kind of in the same predicament. They want to fight the best fighters available. The difference is, if the best fighters don't want to fight Crawford he guarantees such a big minimum that Crawford gonna go out there and get that bag. And you really can't get mad at him for going out there and getting that bag. Gary Russell just saying, shit, I ain't wasting my hands, I ain't wasting the fans' time, I ain't wasting my time. I'm gonna fight my mandatory. If Leo don't want to fight, if Tank don't want to fight, whoever don't want to fight, I'm just gonna fight once a year, get in and get out. You can't knock that. You can't knock that because he basically saying if the best fighter is available, should I fight 2-3 times a year? But then again, don't none of these dudes want to fight me, and that's sad. That's sad. We at that point where he'd rather slow down and fight once a year because the top guys don't want to fight him. I can respect that. And with Terence Crawford, he just saying, shit, I'm getting 4.5, 5, whatever the minimum is. I'm getting that. I'm gonna get that money. But either way, the fans got a problem with it. The fans got a problem with Gary. Oh, he only fights once a year. I don't care. He only fights once a year, Gary. He don't want to fight nobody. But Terence, he just fighting. Either way it go, they fucked. To the fans. The fans don't care nothing about Gary Russell, fighting once a year. They don't care nothing about that. I mean, they don't care that Gary Russell real when he want to fight more than once a year, or Crawford a real one, he want to fight more than once a year. They so concerned about them, but they don't care about the killers. It's bad out here. They don't care nothing about. They don't care about the dudes that's ducking the killers. Oh, the fans don't get mad at Leo. They don't get mad at Errol. They don't get mad at Keith. They don't get mad, at Carl Frampton, Scott Quigg, all them dudes that was not just ducking Gary Russell, but ducking Guillermo Rigondeaux. So I can feel it though. Either way, if he was fighting 3 dudes a year, and they or 2, that's the norm. Fighting twice a year, fighting two tomato cans a year, or 3 tomato cans a year, and it's mandatory in 3 tomato cans a year. Y'all still a complaint, but nobody put the pressure on Leo, Frampton, and the rest of them marks for not wanting to fight him. You know, so it's basically Gary Russell is the version of him once a year, and Terence Crawford is the other version of him that fight 2-3 times a year if he can, versus who he can. You know, but Gervonta should fight him. Why not? I don't want to see Leo and Gary Russell no more. Gervonta done knocked 10 years off of Leo's life with that punch. You know, that ship is sailed. I don't want to see Gervonta rematch Leo Santa Cruz again, which I know Gervonta will rematch him again for an easy bag and knock him out again. But I seen in the Leo Santa Cruz fight why they don't want Tank to move up in opposition. Because, you know, he struggled with Leo Santa Cruz, and Leo Santa Cruz is an experienced fighter. You know what I'm saying? But he ain't shit. He got a little length on him, but he can't crack a head on Easter Sunday at all. So I understand why they don't want to put Leo.
3, 1.
My bad about the Bluetooth, but yeah, man, I want to see him fight. I want to see him fight Tank. I want to see him fight Leo or Carl Frampton if he lose. You know, he took a shot at Tevin Farmer. You know, said that Tevin got beat every round, and JoJo, and he did. Tevin Farmer didn't have a moment. He didn't have. It's just my imagination. No, JoJo Diaz dog walked him from the window to the wall to sweat them my. Oh, ski. He beat Tevin Farmer like he owed him a check. He beat Tevin Farmer like his mama said, get your ass in this house out there fucking with these peoples. But yeah, I want to see Gervonta and Gary Russell. I can see why he's scared of Gary Russell, because he didn't look that good against Leo. But then again, you got a guy in Gary Russell who really, he got a solid punch. He an average puncher or above average puncher at 126. Why is Gervonta running from Gary Russell? You know, that fight don't make no sense in the DMV. And then people, just like with Crawford, people sit there and turn on Gary. Oh, he don't do this, and like, dude, it's like this the era where ducking is acceptable. And then you hear people saying, well, you know, I don't blame them. They got to get their money. Can be detrimental to their career, and then they can lose money. Then stop talking like you got the biggest nuts in the room, or you got the biggest balls in the room, or you the toughest dude in the room, or you tough turtle. If that's the case, be Leo Santa Cruz. I fight, you know what they tell me to? Well, that's Manny Pacquiao. Be Leo. Be like, you know, duck the question. Be like, no, I ain't fighting him, or it's up to Al. But stop talking like all these fighters tough. They daddies, they trainers talking like they tough. So then when it come down to it, like Gervonta talk, I'm one of the best fighters in the world. I got Floyd Mayweather with me, and I'm the best in the world. No, you're not, nigga. Like, you could have been beating Lomachenko. Then nobody would ever question your ability again. But he another dude that talk like he got the biggest balls in the room, but ain't trying to pop shit off. You know, from Gary Russell, dude, that's a huge fight for the East Coast. Philly, Brooklyn, New York in general, the DMV. You can put Jared Hurd on the undercard. Him and Dusty Hernandez can fight at 160 if Hernandez can get down to it. That's a huge fight just for the East Coast. That's love, but there's something about Gary Russell that got Gervonta Davis shook like a tree in the wind. Something about him he don't want, but then again, his apologists sit here. Dude, did he just go straight? I'm drivers in Detroit, man. Wow. What Black Rob say? The drivers in Detroit got like, whoa. But yeah, all I'm saying is, y'all just sit here and y'all let these duckers duck. Don't nobody hold nobody accountable. But then all you Errol Spence and Gervonta fans and all you Negro fight fans out there, y'all sit here and y'all dogged Anthony Joshua. Y'all dogged Joshua out. Y'all dogged him out. But then again, y'all allow Errol Spence and Gervonta Tank Davis to do the same thing that Anthony Joshua did and get away with it. If you can't hold your countrymen accountable, you can't go to the UK trying to get at Anthony Joshua. Especially when Tyson Fury put his dick all the way down Deontay Wilder's throat and made him his bitch. Straight up and down. I ain't trying to hear none of these crybabies. Consistency is the key. Consistency. And these dudes ain't consistent. They sit here protecting Earl Spence, but they was dogging Anthony Joshua for the same thing. But, you know, Javante don't want that work. He don't want that homework. He don't want that in-school work. Then it is what it is. These black fight fans today, they don't hold niggas accountable. They just dicks up. Let's move on. Apparently, Bob Arum is done with Terence Crawford. I got that confirmed. He's no longer talking to Crawford or handling Crawford's business. So somebody at Top Rank, I don't know who, is handling Crawford fights. And I hear that him and Shawn Porter could fight next and it could go down on Top Rank. What I'm also hearing is that Terence Crawford's still leaving. So, you know, who knows? Maybe Top Rank will try to rob him for, you know, for Shawn Porter. But I'm hearing Crawford still gonna make his way out, but him and Shawn Porter is gonna be on Top Rank and somebody else handling Terence Crawford business. But you know, Bob is Bob. You know, and basically they sent the lawyer to him. He got mad about that, and then he didn't really get mad about it. He said he got mad because they leaked the information to the press. In which I heard Bomac didn't leak it to the press. I heard Terence didn't leak it to the press. It was somebody else from their team that linked that information to the press. So if you want to know, I confirmed it wasn't them, but that's what he mad about. And that is what it is. But him and Shawn, that's a very, very good fight for boxing. That's an outstanding fight for boxing. That's a fight that all the fight fans want to see. And you hear a lot of Errol Spence fans get mad at Shawn. Oh, you worth more than $1 million, Shawn. And, you know, you shouldn't. It's like people, it's like they don't want Errol Spence to have no pressure on them. It's like they don't want Errol Spence. You know, and then again, they going to turn and start, Shawn going to knock him out. And maybe Shawn could. But if he does Shawn off, like, another one bites it up. He does Shawn off, then what's going to be the excuse? Oh, Shawn was past his prime. Shawn already, Errol Spencer loosened him up, and this, that, and the third. But last time I checked, Julio Diaz really took his virginity, his boxing virginity, and gave him a draw. Shawn did come back and beat him. He lost to Kill, he lost to Keith. A lot of people thought he lost to Ugas. It seemed a lot of people thought he was a better effort versus Errol Spence. But then you got some fighters that fight up and down to their opposition. So I expect to see the best Shawn Porter versus Bud, but should be a good fight. You know, if I was in Bud corner, I wouldn't let Shawn Porter come forward. I just keep pressing forward and just keep pressing Shawn Porter. You know, or you can do Kell Brook and hold your ground and just piece him up. He's so predictable. You know, Shawn Porter being a, you know, stubbier and shorter arm fighter, he gonna really have to punch up the Bud. And all Bud gotta do is do what Kell Brook do, or you can show him how to handle Shawn Porter and press him back. See, Shawn Porter ain't fought nobody other than Errol Spence and Kell Brook, who gonna really throw short shots. So if you could throw, straight shots. So if you could throw some straight shots at him, it'd be interesting for him. And Shawn got a chance too, because Shawn got the overhand rights and left. But the thing about Shawn, he got to reach for his shots. And a real fighter, they got a punch variety that Shawn ain't seen before. Uppercuts, overhand rights, jabs, double jabs, straight rights. You know, that's how you get to Shawn. But Shawn ain't fought nobody in his length at welterweight before. So, you know, it'll be interesting. It's gonna be a real fight, and it's a fight that the fight fans deserve to see. You know, and if he can do Shawn Porter like Jeff, ooh, so horny, ooh, so. If he could do Shawn Porter like Jeff Horn, ooh, so horny. He could do him like Shawn Porter. Errol Spence ain't on that, but I think Shawn has gave everybody a close fight. But Kell Brook, in my opinion, I think Kell Brook won that comfortable. But I heard Kell Brook also sparred with him, so he had to drop on him. But, you know, Terence know Kenny and Shawn very well, so it'll be an interesting fight. You know, when you fight Shawn Porter, just beating him ain't enough. You know, for Terence Crawford, he gonna have to obliterate him. He gonna have to donkey walk him. He gonna have to Diddy Donkey Kong Country 64 him. He gonna have to blow him out the water, and that's just going what it's gonna have to be. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, response, your video request. Keep sharing the videos. All my social media links in the description. Faster way to reach me is Twitter, then Facebook, then Instagram. You want to make a financial donation, Cash App CJ Good 313. That's in the description. PayPal link in the description as well. Appreciate your love, support. Just keep sharing the video. Best way to donate. Check out the welterweight and boxing news playlist for more videos like this. One time for the one time. We gone.